It is finals time at Big Thursday Night Modern at Magic Corner Vienna. My name is Michael and joining me today is Walter. And we got our two players here on screen. On the left we got Albert playing a burn deck. And on the right we got Robert with Amulet Titan.
Yeah, and he's been running the tables tonight with Amulet Titan here, being 4-0, the same as Albert on the left here. And Robert with his Amulet Titan deck has been playing Titans left and right, and in the previous game we saw him win on turn 3 on the draw with the double striking 8-6 Titan for 16 damage, while his opponent on blue-red burn Delver Prowess was a concoction of that sort, was on 14, so he won that game. And generally speaking, he just tries to get out fast Primeval Titans here with Ravnica Bounce Lands, Amulet Rigger to untap them, and cards to let him make additional land drops.
Well, on the left with Albert playing a basic burn deck, which wants to deploy fast, hasty creatures, Goblin Guide, Monastery Swiftspear, followed up by Burn Spells to put his opponent's life total from 20 down to 0 in no time. But as we have seen before, Robert can kill by turn 3, which is really nasty, but he also needed the 2 amulets for this last kill. So we will see how this match plays out. Burn player can be really fast, but also the amulet player can be really fast.
But now we see the burn player win the diver here after we had a tie in the diver previously. And now 12 here, and burn on the play is huge here, because I feel this matchup is mostly a race here, Michi. And being on the play is very incredibly important to winning that. Because if you land a turn 2 Eidolon here, some of the lines of the burn player, of the Titan player might already get worse, because cards like Ancient Stirrings or Amulet or that Sakura Tribe Scout or the Summoner's Pacts
deal 2 damage
to
him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
They all being punished by the Eidolon here.
Yes, every spell is all of the small spells with current mana cost 3 or less shocks for him.
It's like against Tron, if you play it on turn 2 on the play, those decks are like known for having those big, large, expensive mana haymakers. But then again, you need a lot of like small engine cards to get them. There are both players mulliganing right now.
Yes, both players are mulliganing right now. So we will see how this game turns out, because if we get a bad mulligan from the burn player or the Robert the Amulet player, this game can be over in no time.
Generally speaking though, I think both players mulliganing does favor the burn player here, because his deck is just way more redundant compared to the Amulet Titan deck played by Robert here at Big Thursday Night Modern at Magic Corner Vienna. Because the thing is that with the Titan deck you need different pieces. The Amulet is like a piece that is unique, and having a card less means you can't find. You need bounce lands, you need the Amulet, you need things that let you make additional land drops, and you need a payoff card. So basically you have redundant pieces for most of those combo pieces, but generally speaking you need a lot of different moving parts. So I think mulligan affects you more than the burn deck, where most of the spells just want to deal damage.
And we'll now see how this theoretical docking we are currently having is paying off. Both players still shuffling their decks like there is nothing else to do right now. Really good shuffle decks will be waiting for us. And both players, I'm pretty sure about this, will keep their 6 card hands.
And now Robert is presenting. Albert is giving it a few more shuffles. Both of those decks will have been incredibly shuffled. While we see Robert cutting the deck, Albert is giving his opponent's deck a couple additional shuffles too. Must really like shuffling. Good for him that he plays burn then. Now present, now shuffle a bit more now.
With all those fetch lands. But we will see his 6 cards. Are
6
they
cards
keepable?
for both here. We see like Albert is still on the play. If he forgot
this
about
doesn't
that
change.
12 on the diver, that does not change. He's keeping his scrying, Robert's keeping scrying. Robert's putting it on bottom here, while Albert is putting it on top.
Yes, and he's starting with a Stomping Ground and followed up by Goblin Guide. Yes, Goblin Guide getting in for 2 damage, putting Robert down to 18.
Yeah, but
land.
Goblin Guide trigger very nice for Robert
Yes.
here. He's playing 28 lands, so he's
Insane.
very close to the 50% chance here of revealing a land to the Goblin Guide, and he did with that Gemstone Miner, which gets promptly deployed here. And he's finding the most important piece, like what we were talking about before. This is the least redundant combo piece in the deck. He just got 4 off, he can't tutor for it directly, and the Amulet will be happening next turn. And this is something that he needs on the draw to be able to compete with it. Without an Amulet, there's just no way. But now we see a crack of the fetch Swift Spear, and we see how much damage the Bumper is able to unload here, Michiel.
Hopefully enough, because Robert has also an Azusa in his hand waiting, which will allow him to have 2 additional land drops per turn. Sure, she's weak to removal, but on the other hand, he can already play 1 land when she's in play. And
exactly, she's not even that weak because you don't play next turn. You play that Amulet on the tapped land, maybe just a bounce land, bounce that mine with 1 mining counter back to your hand next turn. And then next turn, like you said, you have the mana, you play a land, play a Susa, and then you play a bounce land as your additional Susa land. Or if in response to a bounce trigger, you could even be smart and you play a forest, which doesn't trigger anything. If you play a forest, you get to play bounce land after it because you keep priority because it's just making land drop. The problem is most lands in your deck have triggers associated with them.
Yeah, because that's what the land builds up. Oh, and he's getting to life again. We saw in the game before. It's Radiant Fountains. So getting him to life, and now he has Amulet into play. And if he's now playing a bounce land, he can just easily return Radiant Fountain.
Yeah, we saw it being played a lot of times in the previous round, copied with Suva, and now Goblin Guide is just giving him infinite lands to Robert. It is here. And the thing is, with that Radiant Fountain, it was like a mainstay in an old standard blue-black control deck. But that deck was played as a 4-off and gained some life against aggro. But Robert here can really go off with just like what we were saying, bouncing, copying it, and just gaining a lot of life. But now he's down to 5 in the meantime here, because a lot of damage has been unloaded here by Albert with an additional attack and the Boros Charm, but no 3rd land drop here. We see if Robert can actually replay it.
Yes, but now currently he can play Azusa, Lost But Seeking. Yes, nice. Pretty safe, because Albert has no mana available. He can't play anything in his deck without paying mana, so he can just really easily play Azusa, play lands, return lands.
And there's an Amulet. He might be able to go off hard here, Robert. He's at 5 now.
Yes.
But he can either go off or he can gain quite a bit of life with Radiant Fountain and Azusa, just replaying Radiant Fountain a couple of times. And here we see it. Untapped with the Amulet. Amulet, Azusa is being played here. Bounce trigger, return to Radiant Fountain. Radiant Fountain will be replayed once. We still have land drops remaining. Carney Garden will get untapped. We'll make a token here.
Jump blocker,
so
pretty nice here.
No additional bounce land here, but just a passing with the Azusa still in play. And Robert back up to 7 here. The life gain with that 1 of Radiant Fountain seems like a very potent strategy against burn decks. So that's like function like burn decks, I think.
If you try it, it's insane. But he can also cheat it out with Tolaria West.
Tolaria West. It's not Tolarian Academy. Imagine Lantern had access to Tolarian Academy or some other decks, Lantern.
No, please no.
Would probably be pretty good there.
No, let's don't talk about this. This will never happen. So it's
banned in Legacy, so it's restricted in Vintage. I'm pretty unlikely to see it in Modern, so yeah.
So we do see 2 jump blocks here.
Yeah, because it's down to 7.
Azusa is 1 too, so currently it's just...
Yeah, but it's a jump block if any spell is cast.
Yes.
It triggers prowess on Swift Spear, which will happen. I expect to see a Boros Charm here. No, it's Lightning Helix.
Lightning Helix, nice.
And we see a prowess trigger represented by the yellow die here. And now down to 4 Robert is here. But only I think 1 card left in Albert's hand, so Robert still has the ability to just go untapped land, Primeval Titan or something. Still has access to a lot of lands here. And we see also still more Radiant Fountain shenanigans incoming would be very nice for Robert's position here.
More Radiant Fountain shenanigans are possible, but he also drew an Explorer, which allows him to play an extra land this turn.
Also cantripping if maybe he has not found that second land yet. Might be able to draw into one. But he had quite a few lands for each of those Goblin Guide triggers, so I think there might still be more lurking in his hand. From the play pattern the turn before, I can deduce that at least the turn before he definitely did not have a bounce land in hand, because otherwise he would have been able to replay that Radiant Fountain additional time, unless he just settled for that Colony Garden here, which made a block possible. But I think that maybe, I'm not sure about it, maybe the jump blocker is just better than the Radiant Fountain, because the jump blocker does more at this point. So maybe he might also have one. Not completely sure about that.
But the jump blocker is also food for Searing Blaze. We will see.
That's
how this
true, but the
turns out.
Susa already was food for that. But we see him starting on the Explorer you were talking about here, Michi. And let's see, it's 2 land drops to make now. One Civic Growth Chamber, untapping it, replay. Yeah, Radiant Fountain. Being played again with that second land drop here. And then enough mana for Premier Titan.
What a big turn.
And now Robert might just be back on the winning path here again. I would like to see just a safety Vesuva here, copying that Radiant Fountain, and then maybe you can also just get a bounce land and play that Radiant and replay the Radiant Fountain. Burn is so unlikely to kill you here, because it's got 1 card in hand. If you block the Goblin Guide with the Primeval Titan, the 1 card in his hand would have to be a burn spell that goes onto a creature. And the card you top that would have to be another one, and neither of those could be Riftbolt.
Yes.
So that makes it very, very unlikely. I'm not good at the math here, but I think just from thinking this through, it seems incredibly unlikely. So I think that just going for the Radiant Fountain, woo, let's get out of burn range plan, I would favor that here.
Yeah, me too. But we don't.
Okay, we're just killing here. That's even better. But you can't kill, that's why I think I would have just gone for that play next turn.
Yeah, but if the creature has haste, he gets another 2 lands into play.
Sure, so it's free, because with the... Yeah, of course it's free. But you don't have to go for the double strike here, you can just go for the other... For getting a Vesuva here, because then you just make sure that you don't die to something...
Yes, and Primeval Titan has Vigilance and Haste, which is insane.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
+2/+0, I think.
Do you know which card I paired Slayer Stronghold with in Standard before?
No. Tell me.
Geist of Sindraft in banned Hexproof. Before it was good, the deck was actually good at some point. It had 2 people in the top, or two players, I think, even battling off in the finals of GP once. But at the time I played it, Breeding Pool wasn't printed yet, because I played in Return to Ravnica. Breeding Pool got printed later, and I just played Abundant Growth, and then Slayer Stronghold was super nice, because you could top a Geist against control, and then you just slam him for 10 straight away. And this is what the card does here too, which is why I was sharing that anecdote. The thing is, it just gets cards out of nowhere. You just get the haste here with the Premier Titan. It's so much added value if your creature has a trigger added to it. And Premier Titan's trigger in this deck are arguably a lot more powerful than the 4/4 Angel from Geist, and that is already nice.
Yeah, you could say so. And we did see the shenanigans with the fountain.
Yeah,
and
being copied by the Vesuva. Robert up to 8 here. So here, the thing is that on 8,
it might be possible for him to die.
Not safe, because he died to Boris Charm and a 1-mana burn spell, because one of those creatures is also getting through here with only 1 blocker on the board.
Basically, Albert needs 6 damage in his hand, and everything is fine. Or
he
even 5 damage would be okay.
Exactly. Just
no, 6 damage. He needs 6 damage in his hand.
2 burn spells. Any 2 burn spells praise basically to the trick here. It could be any of them, unless it's 2 2-mana burn spells.
Yes, they won't do the trick here.
But here, Goblin Guide does the trick only with Boros Charm.
Yes.
It does the trick with Boros Charm and no other card.
Revealing Summoner's Pact twice here, really nicely, smoothly.
And going down to 4 here.
Yes.
Because why not block? It doesn't matter where you block, but if there's a Boris Charm...
Do we see a Boris Charm? This is the question. The only card in his deck which will kill Robert on his spot is Boris Charm.
But if he's fetching here, it has to be a Boris Charm, because you're just dead on the backswing. It could also be a Lightning Helix, but then you're still dead on the backswing.
Yes. But maybe he doesn't know about it. Because he's thinking, yeah, I'm pretty safe with it. Oh no, it's
Eidolon! But you're just dead because you're on 6. Is he on 6? Or
He
it
is
9?
on 9 life currently.
But then you're still dead because you will.
That's what I said. Maybe he just doesn't.
Yeah,
know.
no, you can just get gemstone mines and the double striking
Yes.
sun home because you will have more than enough white and red mana, so you're still swinging for 16 trample here.
And maybe he has drawn some of his pieces naturally. We will see how this plays out.
Then it doesn't matter, you can still play it.
Yes.
And you have.
And
yeah,
he did.
Sunhome naturally drawn.
Draw, attack,
and
win.
attack, and yeah, that's it. Swing for trail. Just Sunhome played from the land. And this is the matchup that is very, very horrible bad for Burn generally. It was when Summer Bloom was legal, Burn just couldn't win this matchup ever. Now the deck got slowed down a bit, and now your Burn space do a lot more in interacting with the Azusa and the Tribe Scouts. But the thing is, if you don't have Zero Embrace, having to kill every Azusa and Sakura Tribe Scout means that your clock is slowed down, and you can still get cheesed out like we saw now with Radiant Fountains. And yeah, if you don't interact well enough, the Titan deck just presents a very fast kill.
Yes, most likely a faster one than the Burn player.
So what does Albert have access to here in the sideboard to make that matchup a bit more winnable for him?
Well, one sweet card is Deflecting Palm.
Deflecting Palm seems very nice against the
Yes.
16 power creature, or even
Yeah,
against the
6.
smaller Titan.
Yes, of course. 6 damage to the face for 1 red and 1 white, for example, if it's just a normal Titan attacks. Really, really great. Another card which I would think of boarding in might be Path to Exile. He's playing 2 Path to Exile in his sideboard, killing a Titan on the spot and just having 1 more turn or maybe 2 more turns to kill his opponent.
Your path is great here, I think.
Yes.
Compared to Scape Shift, you don't get blown out when you path. Yeah.
You're right on this. And another thing is Artifact and Enchantment Destruction. Maybe he will bring in 1 or 2 Destructive Revelry, which just 1 green, 1 red, instant speed, destroy target artifact or enchantment and deal 2 or 3 damage. 3
It's 2
2
damage
damage to your opponent.
Yeah, because it's 3 on
Yes.
the Smash This in the Ruins, which only hits the artifacts, but it hits enchantments.
You're right.
2 damage. It's naturalized with the shock staple to it. It's very sweet design, very clear and concise. And what I was saying is that.
But what would you bring out? Maybe he leaves in play.
No, what I
leaves
was
in
saying
play
is that Destructive Reverie, I would
so-
definitely bring it in. It's very
okay,
nice.
okay.
What you board out here is you want to board out the Searing. No, the Searing Blaze is
Searing
great.
Blaze is okay.
Searing Blaze is amazing.
Yes. Skullcrack?
Skycrack. How good is Skycrack against Radiant Fountain? I think that's the question here.
Yes.
If you feel it's effective against the card Radiant Fountain, because it gets played multiple times a turn and you negate the life gain for that whole turn, then it's good. If you think that he's replaying it like once a turn or multiple turns is only 2 life a turn, maybe you think it's not that important. I think you want to have all of your ways to interact with creatures and a lot of ways to interact with artifacts here, because then you can just keep Robert down, because if he's just naturally casting a Titan on turn 5 or turn 6, you're gonna kill him before that.
This is not enough. As we see with Scapeshift decks. This is just simply not enough.
No, if all your ramp gets disrupted, then you're slower than some decks, and you're definitely slower than Burn.
For sure.
Burn, even with some disruptive elements, will be able to kill on turn 4 quite consistently, and on turn 5 all the time.
Yes. So we will see how both players are boarding here. I think they both finished. Constantine is just thinking about some other stuff.
There is no Constantine here.
Well, I'm so sorry for the viewers. I'm mixing up Constantine and
He's still
Robert all
called
the
Robert.
time.
Yeah, sure. Constantine was his opponent in the
Yes.
previous round. Not on the table right now. We're presenting to you Robert versus Albert here. Amulet Titan against Boros Burn. And we see what's going to happen while we're heading towards the second game, while those players prove to be very deliberate shufflers and sideboarders, very deliberate at playing here.
Well, you should get like a small bell, and when I always make mistakes, you're like, clink, clink, shame, shame, shame.
Yeah, especially Robert, if you're watching this, you should shame this guy. He's got no
please.
shame. He's not repeatedly getting your name wrong. I'm annoyed at him. He shouldn't do that. So we're apologizing for that here. I'm sure he's getting better.
We will see. Cannot promise anything. Yeah. deliberate shuffling going on. Who is faster?
So
who has
here the
better
thing is
shuffle
with
effect?
Robert in his side, but here, because we actually haven't talked about
Oh,
Robert's side,
sorry.
but yet, so the thing is he's got access to a couple of nice ones. Rurik Thar seems like a big bomb against Burn, because Burn's player can't cast any burn spells without taking, I think it's like 6 damage, which is a lot. Thragtusk, Obstinate Bailout, life gaining here. Pyroclasm you could consider, and also Swan Song you could consider, because you just get an additional turn. Because the Swan doesn't have haste, so maybe you get one more turn by countering that last burn spell that would kill you, and then your opponent gets a Swan, so that might be okay.
Yes.
We see depends on what he wants to board out here, but Relic of Progenitor's not doing much. Walking Ballista is also not great. Hornet Queen doesn't seem amazing. So there's some cards to consider boarding out. Also Bojuka Bog does nothing. There is no black card in his deck that he even wants to cast for it. This is a land only played for the fact you don't want to play a tapped colorless land.
No, most
With
likely. you don't
no
want to.
effect.
Sorry. Especially against the burn player.
But now we have both players finally drawing the starting 7 here. After a
Yes.
lot of deliberate shuffling, we see what those decks can bring to the table here.
Are both of them keeping? What do you think?
I
Oh, no.
think
Right.
Albert is taking a
Oh,
mulligan
no.
here, and Robert is still thinking. I think there's a lot of lands in his hand, but he's probably keeping. Or he's still considering it, I'm not sure exactly.
We will see how this turns out.
But I think Robert might be keeping.
He might be... did I see an amulet there?
Yeah, it might have been an amulet and a few lands. I'm not sure if he has a payoff card in hand yet, though I could not clearly deduce that from looking at what
No.
he showed us
Me neither.
from his hand here.
So... Albert is again on the play, which is good for him.
Of
But,
course,
it's-
because on the draw, I think this matchup is very, 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 very hard to win for Burn against most hands from Amulet here.
Yeah, and especially if you take a mulligan.
Yeah.
If you have to take a mulligan, he needs to now have a really solid 6-card hand with a good scry.
But again, like what we were saying before the turn to Eidolon, I think
Yes.
he can do some work on the play.
It can for
If he
sure.
has it this
And he,
game.
hey, if we see it, we'll see how much damage it can do. So, 6 cards being drawn by Albert. Is he going to keep it? Yes, and he's going to scry top or bottom. He's thinking.
There's
and
also an
straight going to the
Explore
top.
on the right of Robert's hand here. Which
nice.
might, yeah, but we see just the Riftbolt. No creature is very, very good here for Robert, because Goblin Guy, he would do 2 damage now, and is very likely to do at least 2 more, probably a lot more, which is a lot more damage output than this Riftbolt, which has a fixed rate of 3 here.
Yes.
So this is a win for Robert already here. Not having, because that the start with multiple creatures is what he fears, because it will just make the clock a lot faster, especially in the draw, because there's 1 Walker less, and always on the play here as well. So this means he's a lot lower in resources than he would like to be.
Big turn 1 from Robert's side here. Forced into Secure Traps card.
Do you think there's a Searing Blaze?
Oh, this would be nasty. This
So
would really
good.
be nasty.
Or there's not. Or do you think
Oh,
if there's
did
no
you
Searing
forget about
Blaze?
the Rift Bolt? Did you already draw the card? Because Robert was pointing at the Rift Bolt. They are not thinking. What happened there? By
There
the way,
might
just a
have been a
question.
missed trigger here, yeah.
Yes, what will happen if you forget about your Rift Bolt? If you draw the card and you're just like,
So
oh,
this is casual Ariel here. In competitive Ariel, I think if the judge rules that that is a beneficial trigger to you, getting to cast the Rift Bolt, and you forget a beneficial trigger, your opponent just gets to decide if you want to cast it. But I think here it's casual Ariel. He just noticed it early
and
enough.
it just
So
didn't
it got
happen
cast.
because he drew his card afterwards.
No, but he did 3 damage to Robert's face here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Ah, sorry.
Exactly, like this is casual Ariel. So
Yes.
if it gets noticed straight away, if it's
Doesn't
possible to
matter.
fix it, it can get fixed here.
So Lava Spike to Robert's face here, putting him down on 14 life. He has an Arid Mesa in play and passing the turn or shooting down Sakura Traps card. Sadly, he did not have a Searing Blaze. This would be amazing here.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
and
3
now
damage-
that's the thing with just the Riftbolt. If there's no other damage spell, I would have considered killing the Tribes card here even. But no,
He
he's
does.
bolting the Tribes card, so it does
Yeah.
the same thing. it would have not mattered if he did it the other way around. He just gave himself an additional draw step.
Yes, because he could have drawn Searing Blaze.
Yeah, but he would not have access to enough mana to cast it right now, but he could have considered, letting his opponent activate the Tribes God for one turn if he can Searing Blaze it after, even though I still like the board
No,
play better.
not after the lava spike, but Rift Bolt, upkeep, shooting to face, and if you have a Lightning Bolt in hand, you just draw. If it's a Searing Blaze, you cast Searing Blaze.
You can't cast Searing Blaze because it costs 2. You have access to 2 mana here.
Yes.
What was the second 2 mana card cast here then? Or was
No,
it
it was Lava Spike and Lightning Bolt.
The Lava Spike. Sure. Sorry about that. Yeah, that would have been nice if you drawn the Searing Blaze here with the fetch that he would have been able to get that land for trigger and wreak havoc here on Robert's card here, but still here, and life total, but still Robert going down to 14. Late. The question is here, he has the Amulet out ready, so this is part of the crucial strategy of his deck, but now he still needs to have more lands. We see a forest here in his hand. He has a Susa too, and a payoff.
And we do see a Summoner Spect here, but on the one hand, Robert always has this one of fun. Or always. He has never to transmute for it, he just naturally draws into it.
Yeah, now he's getting, with his Summoner's Pact, he's not getting Primeval Titan, he's getting the one of sideboard Obstinate Bailiff, which is very nice, the green cards on his sideboard. If he wants them with the 4 Summoner's Pact, he has virtually 5 of here, access to post board with just 1 copy. Talk about effective using of side slots here, Michi.
It's really nice. Summoner's Pact as a tutor card, insane. Feels like a little bit legacy to me.
In this deck where you can pay for it, it's like an immediate green sun zenith effect that's even 1 mana cheaper. You just have to pay hefty cost the next turn, but in this deck this is sometimes not that hard. And in this deck sometimes it really feels like green sun zenith. Sure, you can't get Dried Arbor on turn 1 because you can, but then you die the next turn because you can't pay for it, so yeah.
Yes, this is true. But we see Summoner's Pact is being paid for, and Albert couldn't do anything in his turn. At the end of turn, he's now shooting a burst jump, dealing 4 damage at his face.
But that Bailiff gained 4 life here.
That is a blocker. It's a 4/4, and Goblin Guide is just
big,
sitting
it's
there.
nasty, it's a beast, and it's a Bailiff. It's Goblin Guides for breakfast here.
Yummy. So the Goblin Guide can currently not attack, and then even when Albert now has another creature, both creatures cannot really attack efficiently.
You have to attack if you have a ban spell, because you then just have to 2-for-1 yourself and kill that Bailiff, because at least you get the other damage through and any additional creatures. You also have to hope for not getting Titan next turn, because there's 5 mana on the board already here for Robert, and still cards left in hand, so you have to hope for that. But I think if you have access to ban spell, you have to do that.
But I'm not really sure if I would do this now in this situation. Maybe I would wait a few turns. If I had Searing Blaze, I would attack with both of my creatures. But without a Searing Blaze effect, I'm not quite sure if I have to do it this turn. I can also do it next turn.
Okay, but let's say he has a bolt in hand. What do you do then? You don't bolt him. You just leave it back, do nothing, but then you just give him another turn to still have that Bailiff and be able to deploy another thing in the meantime while you don't use your board or your mana.
Yeah, this is also true.
And now Bojukaborg, which will get boarded out. It did not get boarded out
but
here.
We do see a Primeval Titan here.
But we see a Primeval Titan here, so yeah.
It's insane. He can get...
So Robert probably just wants to have access to a huge general number of lands. But now we'll see.
He actually can attack right now, or? He just needs 1 white, 1 red, and the other land.
But the Slayer Stronghold is tapped on the battlefield, so he can get the Vesuva
to
pop it and the Boros Garrison, but he's not going to do it. He's going to get the Kalni Garden and the Vesuva here. What is the Vesuva copying here?
The Vesuva is copying here
the Radiant Fountain.
Radiant
going
Fountain,
up to 16. So he's just going for defensive plan here, because he just doesn't want to die, and he knows that he doesn't need to risk anything here. He will have a way locked up in a few turns down the road. And here is 2 blockers for both attackers, and he still has that Bailiff. The Bailiff already crunched in for 4 damage.
And he is still on 16 life, so Albert really needed that Path to Exile there, but
not happening at this point here.
Yeah.
might still have it in hand now because you can just cast at the beginning of combat step. There's no
Yes,
advantage in
it's
casting
low.
it really any earlier because the trigger will happen anyways, the enter the battlefield trigger. But we'll see. There's still a lot of cards here in hand for Robert, and also that Slayer Stronghold here. But we just see an attack for 2 and a trigger, so no beginning of combat path here, Michi.
No beginning of combat buff. This is really bad. So it seems like he doesn't have one, which makes this whole situation even worse for him. Yeah, he's not getting the combo pieces. Both are going to be untapped because of the Amulet.
And giving a double strike
Yes.
here. Tapping 4 and the Sunhome, bouncing a Vesuva here. And now we're threatening 16 points of damage, 12 of which cannot be jump blocked effectively. You can still survive here. You have to double jump, so you just take 10 damage, going down to 3. If you don't block the Baloth, you will be dead because you're
Yes.
going to take 14 damage here.
So they're currently doing the math. Maybe he only got the double strike, but
But the Titan does have trample though, doesn't it?
yes. I think the game is over.
Ah,
Yes, the
but
game
no,
is over.
so
He's
Albert
dead.
is did actually die. I think because that might have just been the
Yes.
first strike damage here. Noted, and then after the first strike damage step, Albert probably said, okay, now I'm conceding here. Because Robert had resolved the first strike, Albert
Yes.
said, yes, it resolved it, and then Albert was like, okay, I've had enough here. So we see 2 victory here by Amulet Titan going 5-0 and winning Big Thursday Night Modern at Magic Corner Vienna here. A first time, I think, for Amulet Titan, and Robert showed great skill with his deck of choice here, navigating a variety of matchups and even some of the more aggressive ones quite expertly. Won against the control deck in the first round, and then he won against the blue-red burn deck and the Boros burn deck, just dispensing both of those pretty handily, I think.
He did a great job there, but currently we see both players. We see the separate choices of both.
Yeah, with
players.
one path to Excel in here. Did he only play one in the side? Or did
No,
he
he
really
played
win?
2. He
I
played
think
2
you should have
pa-
brought in
path to exile
both.
there.
And we saw all the artifact removal spells,
Yes.
which are nice, but I think I would have brought in the additional copy of Path to Excel here.
For sure, I would have brought them in because, okay, it's really nice to kill one Amulet, but if you got like 2 Destructive Revelry or 1 Destructive Revelry and a
But the
Seraph
Titan
Princess,
kills you so quickly,
That-
like we saw
yeah.
with before with the double strike and the stuff. You
And-
just you win so much time.
Not only the Titan kills fast, even a Baloth in the way is like, what can I
Baloth,
do?
yeah, on the Baloth on D,
Cannot attack through.
the big B on D.
Yes.
You just path it.
Yeah, you just buff it and you attack through. You have and
The Searing Blazes
all
got
went
boarded out. So
Wow.
probably Albert might have next leveled himself a bit here. He was probably thinking that most of the creatures would be boarded out, but here we see that Explores, Relics, Walking Ballista, and Hornet Queen got boarded out, and all those Sakura Tribe Scots and the Susu stayed in. Albert might have thought differently and might have boarded against the sideboard strategy that was not even employed by Robert here.
Yes, and it cost him the game. Or did he bought him the other Path to Exile too? Yes, I think he bought
Yeah,
him
and
two,
the Skullcrack
Path to Exiles
too,
and the
yeah.
Skullcrack, yeah. Sorry, he was just not finished botting. We could not see this here. But yeah, I think it's okay sideboarding. I'm not quite sure if I would board in 4 artifact removal.
I think you
Because-
want to because the amulet means you die quickly. Both games you
Yes.
only died quickly because of the amulet. It's better having a dead card and maybe slowing down your clock by like 1 turn sometimes, because the amulet is a few
It's killing
turns
you.
in the is like, I don't know. On average, I would assume on average it's close to 2 turns of a quicker kill possible depending on the hand.
Yes, you're right on this side. So this was our commentary for this big Thursday Night Modern at Magic Corner Vienna. If you like this video, if you like our talking, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to say anything to us, comment below. We will read the comments and answer to you directly. I wish you a great night. Ciao.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time, hopefully, with the next commentary from Big Thursday Night Modern at Magic Corner Vienna. Thanks for watching, guys.